So now that you've been, let's say, upgraded, you get shipped off to your new job. Not that you had a say in the matter. You were assigned. Like a Hogwarts letter that said, "Congratulations, you now serve the absolute worst people alive." But wait, not all eunuchs were built the same. There were types, categories, like Pokemon but more depressed. Let's start with the palace eunuch. This was the classic model, the most visible, the most unfortunate. These poor guys lived inside royal palaces and did all the glamorous work. Carrying scrolls, standing silently behind the throne, managing schedules, waking up at dawn to listen to a prince complain about sandals. They were everywhere. The imperial kitchen, the royal bedroom, the hallway where someone was always arguing about taxes. Palace eunuchs were like furniture that occasionally sighed, and they had to be invisible, quiet, efficient, and very good at keeping secrets. The moment you repeated something the emperor said in his bath, boom, you're out. And by out, we mean probably buried. Then there were the domestic eunuchs. These were the ones assigned to the emperor's wives, or concubines, or children, or all of the above. Their job was to keep the women company without being an actual threat. Because nothing says "I trust you" like assigning a man who's had his hardware permanently removed. So you'd spend your days brushing royal hair, reading poetry out loud, carrying perfume bottles the size of small dogs. You were basically a living accessory with a tragic backstory. Some of these eunuchs became glorified babysitters. Imagine spending 10 years making sure a spoiled 6-year-old didn't choke on a grape. And then that kid becomes emperor, and suddenly you re his closest advisor because you once helped him pee standing up. That's career growth. Eunuch edition. Then there were the military eunuchs. Yes, those existed. In some dynasties, eunuchs were trusted more than generals because they didn't have families or tribal loyalties, just trauma and an excellent work ethic. These eunuchs weren't frontline soldiers. They weren't swinging swords, but they were organizing supply lines, handling logistics, managing payroll. If your empire needed a war to run smoothly, you put a eunuch on it. Nothing says victory like perfectly balanced spreadsheets and zero sexual tension. And let's not forget the religious eunuchs. In certain cultures, eunuchs serve temples or spiritual leaders. Because what better way to prove your divine devotion than sacrificing your entire lower half? These eunuchs handled rituals, managed temple funds, and occasionally got dragged into theological debates while wearing robes 3 sizes too big. Now, here's the twist. Despite being mutilated, mocked, and micromanaged by 12-year-old princes, some eunuchs climbed the ladder, way up. A few became chancellors, diplomats, even kingmakers. Because if you survived long enough without getting blamed for something, people started to trust you, or at least feared you, and this power came with perks. Fancy clothes, private rooms, personal guards, pet monkeys. Yes, some eunuchs owned monkeys. Because if life already robbed you of everything else, you might as well have a fun little primate to scream with. But here's the dark side. Not all eunuchs were willing participants in this system. Many hated their job, their past, their reflection. Some turned bitter, paranoid, manipulative. Because if the world treats you like an accessory long enough, you start accessorizing your revenge. Eunuch culture wasn't just about obedience. It was about survival. Knowing when to speak, when to bow, when to fake a laugh at an emperor's terrible poem. It was chess, constant chess. And if you lost, you didn't get sent home. You got erased. So yeah, welcome to the eunuch factory. Pick your role. Political puppet, royal babysitter, military accountant, religious sidekick. All come with robes. None come with dignity.